My name is Melinda Mullins. I'm 28 years old. And the night before my wedding, my mother left me a voicemail at 11:43 p.m. Melinda, it's not too late to cancel. Don't embarrass us like this. My father had already written me a 4-page letter calling my choices intellectually incompatible with our family's values. I played it 3 times before I understood. She wasn't coming. 68 invitations to my side, 0 responses. My mother had sent a group email to everyone. We cannot in good conscience attend. Their reason? My fiancé worked nights as hospital security. To them, he was nobody. They didn't know that strangers stopped him on the street to say thank you. They didn't know why his phone rang at 2 a.m. with urgent, desperate voices. They never asked. So, on September 14th, 2025, I walked down the aisle alone, 90 feet, 34 empty chairs. 48 hours later, a 10-second clip from my reception went viral, and the man my family called nobody became the only person anyone could talk about. That's when they realized what they'd done. But it was too late. If you're watching, hit subscribe and tell me where you're tuning in from. Drop your location and local time in the comments. I read every single one. Now, let me take you back 14 months to a hospital waiting room at 2:17 in the morning, where I met a man in a security uniform who would change everything. February 19th, 2024, Pennsylvania Hospital Emergency Room. My roommate had been in a bike accident. Nothing life-threatening, but enough to land us in the ER at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd been sitting in that waiting room for 3 hours. Green vinyl chairs, fluorescent lights that made everyone look half dead. Coffee machine with an out-of-order sign taped across it. I was staring at my phone, not really seeing it when someone stopped in front of me. You've been here 3 hours. Have you eaten? I looked up. Security guard mid-30s maybe. Dark hair, worn boots, hospital ID badge clipped to his belt but turned backwards so I couldn't read it. His face was tired but kind. The kind of tired that comes from working nights, not from lack of sleep. I know I haven't. Vending machine's broken. I'll grab you something from the staff room. He was back 6 minutes later with a turkey sandwich still wrapped and a cup of coffee in a paper cup. Thank you, I said. You didn't have to do that. You looked like you needed it. We talked for 6 minutes, maybe 7. He didn't say much about himself, just I work here nights, mostly operation stuff. But the way he talked was different, calm, precise, like every word was chosen carefully, like he didn't waste energy on things that didn't matter. Do you like working nights? I asked. It's when the work matters most. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't ask. When the nurse finally called me back to see my roommate, I stood up. He was still there, hands in his pockets, watching the ER doors like he was keeping track of something I couldn't see. I'm Melinda, I said. Nathan. A nurse walked past us, saw him, started to say something. Doctor. He cut her off with a look, just a glance. She stopped mid-ward and kept walking. I noticed it, but I didn't understand it. Take care, Nathan said. I thought that was the end of it. A kind stranger in a hospital at 2 a.m. One of those moments you remember but never revisit. 3 days later, he found me on social media and asked if I wanted to get coffee. Our first date was April 3rd, reading Terminal Market, 12:30 in the afternoon. He showed up on time, wearing jeans and a worn gray jacket. Still looked tired. I wondered if he'd worked the night before. We wandered through the market, bought Philly cheesesteaks from one of the vendors, sat at a bench near Bassett's ice cream. He talked about Philadelphia like he loved it, but didn't have time to see it. I talked about my job. I worked in academic publishing. Nothing glamorous, but I liked it. You work that much? I asked when he mentioned not getting out during the day often. Something like that. His phone buzzed 4 times during lunch. He checked it once, frowned, typed something I couldn't read. All numbers and abbreviations like medical shorthand, then put it away and gave me his full attention. Sorry, he said. It's fine. Is everything okay? Yeah, just work. 2 hours. He paid in cash. He didn't check his phone again. When we said goodbye, he smiled. Really smiled for the first time. Can I see you again? He asked. I said, yes. We fell into something slowly at first, then all at once. Nathan worked crazy hours. Sometimes he'd disappear for 36 hours straight. Overnight shifts, he'd say, emergencies that needed handling. I didn't push. I figured hospital operations, maybe management, something that kept him on call. He lived simply, studio apartment in South Philly, barely any furniture, books everywhere, mostly medical textbooks and journals. I asked him about them once. Just interested in health stuff, he said. You read trauma surgery journals for fun? I like to understand how things work. By December 2024, we'd been together almost 10 months. I was in love, completely, stupidly in love with a man who worked night shifts and read surgical protocols like other people read novels. Move in with me, I said one night in December. He looked at me for a long time. You sure? I'm not around much. I'm sure. He moved in with one duffel bag, a stack of medical journals, a pager that beeped at random hours, and made him leave the apartment at 2 in the morning without explanation. I loved him for who he was. Quiet, kind, solid. I never needed to know what he did. I just knew he was good at it. My family would care about what he did, but I didn't. March 22nd, 2025. I finally told my mother about Nathan. I'm seeing someone, I said over the phone. Oh, how wonderful. Her voice went bright. What does he do? I hesitated just for a second. He works at Pennsylvania Hospital Security. Silence. Security operations? She repeated slowly. Is that management? It's hospital work, Mom. Of course. I'm sure he's very dedicated. That tone. I knew that tone. It was the same voice she used when declining charity event invitations she considered beneath her. Polite, carefully neutral, poisonous. We'd love to meet him, she said. Great. I'll set something up. I hung up. Nathan was in the kitchen making eggs. He didn't look up. They want to meet you, I said. I heard. It'll be fine. He plated the eggs, handed me a fork. It won't be fine, Melinda, but we'll do it anyway. May 18th, 2025, 7:00 p.m. My parents' house in Bin Mar, Pembroke Road, restored Victorian faculty art on the walls. The kind of place that smells like old money and older expectations. Nathan arrived on time. He brought wine, a modest bottle. Nothing expensive. He dressed in his best, which was still clearly not expensive enough. I saw my mother's eyes flick to his shoes. Worn, not designer. My father shook his hand, firm grip, appraising look. Melinda tells us you work in hospital security. Yes, sir. Operations and safety protocols. And your educational background? State University scholarship. My mother smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. Dinner was excruciating. My parents talked about tenure, publications, sabbatical plans in Provence. Nathan listened. He didn't try to impress them. He answered questions politely. He didn't play their game. Halfway through dinner, our neighbor, Professor Adelaide Winters, mentioned her son's health issues. Dizziness, balance problems. 3 doctors, no answers. Nathan sat down his fork. Sounds like vestibular neuritis, not vertigo. Has he seen an ENT? The table went quiet. How did you know that? My mother asked. I work in a hospital. You pick things up. He didn't elaborate. He went back to his meal. My mother stared at him for 3 seconds. Then she changed the subject. Dinner ended at 9:30. We drove home in silence. I felt the weight of what had just happened pressing down on both of us. At 10:43, my phone lit up. Mom, we need to talk about your future. Call me when you have a moment. This is important. Nathan reached over and held my hand. He didn't say it would be okay. He knew it wouldn't. June 3rd. My father's letter arrived. 4 pages typed single-spaced on his University of Pennsylvania Economics Department letterhead. I read it twice before I could breathe. We raised you to value education, discourse, and intellectual partnership. We worry that a marriage built on such desperate foundations will not weather the challenges of time. This isn't about love. It's about compatibility of life paths. Nathan seems like a kind man, but kindness alone cannot bridge the gap between your world and his. We say this because we love you and want you to have a partner who can meet you where you are intellectually, socially, professionally. Please reconsider this path before it becomes too difficult to turn back. The word desperate appeared 3 times. I called Nathan. He was at work. I could hear the sounds of a hospital in the background. Beeping monitors, distant voices. My dad sent me a letter. What did it say? I told him all of it. He listened without interrupting. Do you want to marry me? He asked when I finished. Yes. Then we get married. That was it. No anger, no defensiveness, just quiet certainty. I loved him more in that moment than I ever had before. June 10th. My mother invited me to coffee. Rittenhouse Square, 3:00 p.m. I showed up thinking we'd talk, maybe argue, maybe find some middle ground. She'd brought someone. Melinda, this is Dr. Trevor Ashford. His mother and I serve on the board together. Trevor, this is my daughter. Trevor stood, smiled. Penn Med badge clipped to his belt like a trophy. Pediatric surgeon, Ivy League, everything. Summers in Maine. Perfect pedigree. I sat down because walking out immediately felt too dramatic. I lasted 11 minutes. Trevor's family has a house in Bar Harbor. My mother was saying you'd have so much in common. I'm engaged, Mom. You're not married yet. I stood up, left my coffee untouched, walked out. My mother didn't follow me. That's when I knew they weren't going to stop. The family group chat exploded. 23 unread messages by the time I checked that night. Aunt Patricia, has anyone actually met this man? Cousin Emily, I heard he works security like night shifts. Uncle Douglas, well, Melinda always was independent. My brother, I'll call him Andrew, didn't write in the chat. He posted on Instagram instead of photo of a sunset. Caption: sometimes you just have to watch people make their own mistakes. 340 likes. Comments from family, friends. I left the group chat. My mother added me back. I left again. Nathan came home at 2:14 in the morning. His phone had rung at exactly that time. I'd woken up to hear him answer. Cross 2 minutes. His voice changed when he answered those calls. Sharp, focused, all business. How long? Okay, intubate. If sets drop below 88, I'll be there in 12 minutes. He was dressed and out the door in under 3 minutes. I heard the car start. He came back 6 hours later, exhausted. There was blood on his shirt cuff, just a small spot, barely visible. He saw me looking. Rough night, he said. I didn't ask, but I wondered. Security guards don't usually have blood on their cuffs. Security guards don't give orders about intubation. I pushed the thought away. July 22nd. I picked Nathan up from the hospital once. 6:15 p.m. He was standing outside the main entrance in scrubs. I'd always assumed hospital security wore scrubs sometimes. Seemed normal. A nurse walked past, saw him, stopped. Doctor across the family in Bay. 3 wants to thank you before they leave. Tell them I'll stop by. She nodded and walked away. I stared at him. That nurse called you doctor. She's new. Probably confused the badge system. His hospital ID was flipped backward on his belt. I couldn't see what it said. I almost pushed, almost asked him directly. Then I saw how tired he was. Dark circles under his eyes. The kind of exhaustion that goes bone deep. I let it go. I wish now I'd asked. August 12th, 2025. I sent 68 invitations to my side of the family. Beautiful cream cardstock. Calligraphy addressing. Each one cost $4 to print. I addressed them by hand. Parents, brother, aunts, uncles, cousins, my mother's faculty friends, my father's department colleagues, family friends I'd known since childhood. RSVP deadline, August 28th. Nathan watched me seal the envelopes. You don't have to invite them, he said. They're my family. Okay. He didn't argue, but I saw it in his eyes. He knew what was coming. August 20th, 3:22 p.m. My mother sent an email. I wasn't on the recipient list. She didn't CC me. I found out because my cousin Emily forwarded it to me 2 hours later with a message. YUTF, is this subject? We cannot in good conscience attend. Dear family and friends, after much painful deliberation, we must inform you that we will not be attending Melinda's wedding on September 14th. We love our daughter deeply, but we cannot in good conscience support a marriage that represents such a significant departure from our family's values and expectations. We hope you will understand and respect our decision. With regret, Catherine and Lawrence Mullins. Attached was a family photo from last Christmas before Nathan. I wasn't in it. I'd skipped Christmas that year. I read it 4 times. Then I called the caterer. I need to cancel 68 seats. She paused. 68? Are you sure? I'm sure. I'm so sorry, she said quietly. I hadn't expected kindness from a stranger. I cried in my car for 20 minutes after I hung up. August 28th, RSVP deadline. 0 responses from my side. Not one. Some people had opened the invitation. I could read notifications on the emails. They just didn't respond. Others never opened them at all. My brother didn't send his invitation back. He didn't write. He didn't call. Nothing. September 3rd, I met with the venue coordinator at Fairmount Park Horticulture Center. We need to adjust the seating, I said. She pulled up the floor plan. Capacity for 150. We'd planned for 82 from Nathan's side, 68 from mine. How many seats should we remove from your side? She asked gently. All of them. Leave the chairs. Just leave them empty. She looked at me. We could shift Nathan's guests to make it look more balanced. No, leave the left side exactly as is. 34 empty chairs. I want to see it. She looked at me like I was punishing myself. Maybe I was, but I needed the truth to be visible. September 13th, 2025. The night before my wedding. My phone was silent. No call from my mother. No text from my father. My brother's Instagram was full of his usual posts. Gym photos, food, sunsets, nothing about me, nothing about tomorrow. Nathan came home from an overnight shift at 11:47. Found me on the couch staring at my phone. He sat down beside me, didn't say anything, just took my hand. We can cancel, he said finally. We can go to City Hall Monday. Just us. No, I want the wedding. I want them to know what they chose. He kissed my forehead. Okay, then we do this your way. At 11:43, my phone rang. Mom, I answered. Melinda, it's not too late to cancel. Think about what you're doing to this family. Don't embarrass us like this. She hung up before I could respond. I played it 3 times before I understood. She really wasn't coming. September 14th, 2025. 4:00 p.m. I was alone in the bridal suite. No mother to help me with my dress. No bridesmaids from my side. The venue coordinator, her name was Sarah, helped me zip up the back. You look stunning, she said. Thank you. I looked in the mirror. White dress. David's bridal. $1,200. Hair done by a stylist who worked in silence because she could tell I didn't want to talk. Makeup I'd done myself because I didn't trust myself not to cry if someone else did it. I looked beautiful. I looked alone. I checked my phone one more time. 0 messages. I turned it off. 4:02 p.m. The doors opened. The string quartet started playing. Canon indeed. The song I'd picked 6 months ago when I still thought my father would walk me down the aisle. I stood at the threshold and looked out. Left side, 34 empty chairs. 34 place programs sitting untouched on seats. 34 name cards at the reception tables that would never be claimed. Right side, Nathan's people standing, smiling. 82 people who loved him. His parents in the front row, working class, warm, present. His mother was already crying. Nathan stood at the altar in a navy suit. He saw me. His face broke. He mouthed something. I couldn't hear it, but I knew what he said. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I started walking. 90 feet, no father, no brother, no one to hold my arm and tell me I was making the right choice. Just me. White heels that hurt my feet, a bouquet I held too tightly, and 34 empty chairs watching me like witnesses to an execution. Every step felt like defiance. Every empty chair was a choice they'd made. I kept walking. Nathan took my hands when I reached him. They were shaking, both of ours. The officiant, Reverend Patricia Okoye, someone Nathan knew from community work, began the ceremony. We'd written our own vows. Nathan went first. His voice cracked halfway through. I don't have much, he said. But what I have is yours. My time, my hands, my life. I see you, Melinda. I've always seen you. I couldn't stop crying. My turn. You're enough, I whispered. You've always been enough, and I choose you today and every day after. The officiant smiled through her own tears. You may kiss the bride. Nathan cupped my face gently, kissed me like we weren't standing in a room with 34 empty chairs, like it was just us. For one perfect moment, the emptiness didn't matter. The reception started at 4:35. Same venue, different room, table 3, front left, 8 place settings, name cards and calligraphy. Catherine, Lawrence, Andrew, Aunt Patricia, Uncle Douglas, Cousin Emily, my mother's best friend Helen, my father's colleague, Professor Winters, 8 empty seats, perfect table settings, flowers, champagne glasses that would never be touched, plates that would never hold food. Nathan's family tried to fill the space with warmth. His mother, Diane, hugged me so hard I could barely breathe. "You're our daughter now," she said. "You've always been enough for us." I smiled. Looked at table 3. I couldn't help it. Every hour, I looked at that empty table twice. It was a wound that wouldn't close. 6:33 p.m. First dance. Can't help falling in love. 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Nathan held me. We swayed. I could feel his heart beating against mine. "I thought they'd come," I whispered. "I know, baby. I know." We danced. The empty table watched. The song ended. We kept swaying for 5 more seconds. This is it, I thought. This is the rest of our life. Just us. I'd made my peace with it. Or so I thought. 7:23 p.m. Dessert was being served. The cake had been cut. Nathan was talking to his uncle near table 8 when I heard someone scream. "Richard! Richard! Someone help!" I turned. A man, 62, maybe one of Nathan's former patients, had collapsed near the dessert station. His wife was on her knees beside him, shaking his shoulder. People froze. Someone yelled, "Call 911." Nathan was already moving. He crossed the room in seconds, dropped to his knees beside the man. His whole body shifted, went from wedding guest to something else entirely. Something I'd never seen before. "Someone call 911, he said. His voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Tell them 62-year-old male, possible MI, wedding reception at Horticulture Center." He checked the man's pulse, airway. His hands moved with absolute precision. A woman ran over, one of Nathan's guests, someone I'd been introduced to earlier, but couldn't remember. She was wearing a dress and heels, but she moved like she knew exactly what to do. "Dr. Cross, I have an AED in my car." She was already running to get it. Another man appeared, older, calm. "Nathan, you want me to handle compressions if get my medical kit from my car, back seat, and start oxygen if you have it." They moved like a team, like they'd done this 1,000 times. I stood there frozen. "Dr. Cross." The woman came back with the AED. "Dr. Cross, it's ready." Nathan didn't look up. "Good. Charge to 200. Someone start compressions. 2 in deep, 100 per minute. Rotate every 2. The EMTs arrived. They saw Nathan. Recognition flashed across their faces. "Dr. Cross, we've got it from here, sir." "We'll transport to Penn." Nathan stood. Professional posture, hands at his sides, his face completely calm, zero panic. This was someone who'd done this before, many times before. A woman near me was filming on her phone. I didn't notice at the time. I was too busy staring at Nathan like I'd never seen him before, because I hadn't. This wasn't the man who made eggs in our kitchen. This wasn't the man who fell asleep reading trauma surgery journals. This was someone else. Someone everyone else in this room seemed to know except me. The EMTs loaded the man onto a stretcher. Nathan rode with them to the hospital. 15 minutes. He came back at 8:10. I was standing near our table waiting. "Is he okay?" I asked. "He'll be fine. Stent procedure tonight. Full recovery expected." I stared at him. "Really?" Looked at him. "Everyone kept calling you doctor." Nathan looked at me. Long silence. 3 seconds. 5. "I am a doctor." "You Nathan, you said you work security." "I do. Hospital security systems, safety protocols. I oversee operations." He paused. "But I'm also a trauma surgeon, chief of trauma at Penn Medicine." The words didn't make sense. I heard them. I understood them individually, but together they were nonsense. "You're what?" "A trauma surgeon." "Chief of how long?" 6 years as chief. 12 years total at Penn. Why didn't you tell me? He looked at me like the answer should be obvious. Because you never needed me to be more than I was. I didn't know what to say. We stood there, wedding reception happening around us, and I realized I'd fallen in love with someone I didn't actually know. Or maybe I did know him. Maybe I knew the parts that mattered. But this was something else entirely. We'll talk later, he said gently. Right now, we have a wedding to finish. He took my hand, led me back to the dance floor. I followed because what else was I going to do? We left at 11 p.m. exhausted, overwhelmed. We didn't check our phones. We just went home, fell into bed, and slept. We had no idea what was happening online. Amy Palmer, the daughter of the man who collapsed, had posted the video at 8:04 p.m., 10 seconds of shaky vertical phone footage. Nathan kneeling, the nurse running over with the AED. Dr. Cross, the other doctor asking about intubation. Nathan giving orders, with complete authority. The EMTs arriving, deferring to him. Dr. Cross, we've got it from here, sir. Caption. OMG. The groom at this wedding just saved my dad's life, and everyone's calling him Dr. Cross. Hashtag wedding hero, hashtag #DDoctor, hashtag LifeFever posted at 8:04 p.m. By 9 o'clock p.m., 3,200 views. By 1,000 p.m., 62,000 views. By midnight, 340,000 views. By 6:42 the next morning, when I woke up to my phone vibrating nonstop, 2.8 million views. September 15th, I woke to 47 missed calls, friends I hadn't talked to in months, college acquaintances, blocked numbers, unknown numbers. I opened TikTok. The video was everywhere, not just Amy's original post. Reposts, shares, stitches, reaction videos, comments flooded in. Wait, that's Dr. Nathan Cross from Penn. He's a legend in trauma surgery. He did my sister's emergency surgery in 2021. Saved her life. Best surgeon on the East Coast. The Cross protocol is taught in med schools now. This man is brilliant. I scrolled, kept scrolling. Hundreds of comments, then thousands. Twitter was worse. Hashtag Dross was trending. Number 3 in Philadelphia. I shook Nathan awake. Nathan, wake up. It's everywhere. The video is everywhere. He sat up, looked at my phone, then his. His face went pale. Oh no. By 10:22 a.m., Penn Medicine had released a statement. Dr. Nathan Cross has served as Chief of Trauma Surgery and Medical Director of the Philadelphia Trauma Network since 2019. His contributions to emergency medicine, including the Cross Protocol for multi-trauma assessment, have saved countless lives. We are proud to have him as part of the Penn Medicine family. The statement was picked up by Philly.com, NBC Philadelphia, the local ABC affiliate. Medical Twitter amplified it. Residents who'd trained under Nathan, nurses who'd worked with him, attending physicians who'd collaborated with him. By 2 p.m., Dr. Nathan Cross was trending nationally. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. I turned it off. The comments kept coming. I made the mistake of reading them. Dr. Cross saved my daughter after a 4-story fall in 2023. We owe him everything. I was a trauma resident under Dr. Cross. He's the best teacher and surgeon I've ever known. My brother coded twice during surgery. Dr. Cross brought him back both times. My brother just turned 30 last month. He's alive because of this man. Over 400 patient testimonials in the first 24 hours. Reddit thread on r/Philadelphia. 3,200 plus upvotes. Facebook shares 18,000 plus. I sat at my kitchen table and cried. I had no idea. I had no idea who I'd married. Or maybe I did. Maybe I'd known all along and just hadn't had the words for it. My mother started calling at 1 o'clock p.m. 11 calls between 1 and 4:30. My father sent an email at 2:47. Subject line urgent family matter. I didn't open it. My brother sent an Instagram DM at 3:15. Melinda, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. I'm so sorry. I read it, didn't respond. September 16th, my mother's world started crumbling. Faculty colleagues asking questions. Catherine, I saw a video. Is that Melinda's husband? The trauma surgeon. UPenn Economics Department lounge. Whispers. I had no idea her son-in-law was Nathan Cross. He spoke at our medical ethics symposium last year. Brilliant man. Private school board meeting. My mother walked in. Awkward silence. Everyone had seen the video. Country club tennis. Her regular partners asking pointed questions. The carefully constructed world she'd built on appearances, on connections, on status, was collapsing, and everyone was watching. September 17th, 9:22 a.m., someone leaked my mother's email. A distant cousin, maybe Aunt Patricia's daughter, someone with a guilty conscience. Screenshot posted to Twitter. Full text visible. Subject line, signature, timestamp. We cannot in good conscience attend. 68,000 retweets by end of day. Comments were savage. Imagine boycotting your daughter's wedding because her husband saves lives for a living. This email is going to haunt them forever. They called a trauma surgeon a departure from family values. The irony. BuzzFeed wrote an article. Huffington Post. Local news picked it up. The internet found my mother's LinkedIn. Comments started rolling in. I didn't have to do anything. The truth was punishment enough. September 18th through 25th, Nathan and I went to the Adirondacks. A cabin with no cell service. Wood-burning stove. Hiking trails. Silence. We talked. Really talked. Why didn't you tell me? I asked on the third day. We were sitting on the porch. He had coffee. I had tea. The woods were quiet. Because you saw me, he said. Really saw me. Not the credentials, not the title, not what I could do, or what I'd accomplished. Just me. And I didn't want to lose that. You wouldn't have lost it. Maybe, but I've spent my whole adult life being Dr. Cross, chief of trauma, the surgeon who developed the Cross protocol, the guy everyone calls when things go wrong. And it's good work, important work, but it's also exhausting being that person all the time. He looked at me. You met me in a hospital waiting room at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was wearing a security uniform. I brought you a sandwich. And you talked to me like I was just a person. No expectations, no assumptions, just a guy who worked nights. You lied to me. I didn't lie. I just didn't correct your assumptions. And yeah, that was wrong. I know that. But Melinda, for the first time in my adult life, someone loved me for who I was, not what I could do. And I wanted to keep that even if it was selfish. I didn't say anything for a long time. I'm still angry, I said finally. I know, but I understand. He reached for my hand. We sat there until the sun went down. September 24th. We drove back to Philadelphia. I turned my phone on. 340 missed calls. I turned it off again. October went by in a blur. The viral video eventually died down. New scandals, new heroes. The internet moved on. But the fallout for my family didn't stop. My mother's charity board positions became uncomfortable. Questions about judgment, about values. My father's department colleagues didn't say anything directly, but the whispers persisted. My brother kept his distance. They tried to reach out. Emails, calls, letters. I didn't respond to any of them. Nathan went back to work. 80-hour weeks, trauma surgeries, teaching residents, running the trauma network. I went back to work, too. My colleagues had seen the video. They didn't know what to say, so they said nothing. Life moved forward, but something had shifted. I couldn't go back to before. Before I knew who Nathan really was. Before my family showed me who they really were, everything was different. Now, November 8th, 2025, 7:12 p.m. My phone rang. Mom. I almost didn't answer. My hand hovered over the decline button. I answered. Melinda. Her voice was shaking. It's your father. He collapsed at a faculty event. They're taking him to Penn Presbyterian. It's his heart. They're saying, Melinda, please come. I need you. She was crying. I looked at Nathan. He was already grabbing his keys. Let's go. We arrived at 8:20. Penn Presbyterian ER waiting room. My mother was there. Cashmere coat from the faculty event. Makeup running, hands shaking. She saw me, broke down. Melinda, I know you hate me. I know what we did was. Mom, not now. Where is he? We sat, waited. Other faculty colleagues in the waiting area. They recognized me, looked away quickly. My mother, and I didn't speak. At 9:15, a nurse came out. Mrs. Mullins, your husband is in surgery. Dr. Cross is operating. My mother's face went white. Nathan. The nurse nodded. Yes, Dr. Cross is chief of cardiothoracic on call tonight. Your husband's in the best hands. My mother collapsed into a chair. I sat across from her. We didn't speak for 90 minutes. Finally, she whispered, "The man we owe, God." Melinda, what have we done? 11:47 p.m. The O doors opened. Nathan walked out, still in scrubs, exhausted, professional. Mrs. Mullins, Melinda, your husband is stable. We performed an emergency coronary bypass. He's going to be okay. My mother stood, tears streaming down her face. You saved him. We did our job. He'll need cardiac rehab, lifestyle changes, but prognosis is good. Nathan, her voice broke. After everything we did to you, after what we said, and you still, Mrs. Mullins, I'm a doctor. I took an oath. I don't pick and choose who deserves care. He said it gently but firmly. My mother sobbed. Nathan looked at me. I saw the exhaustion in his eyes, and something else. Sadness. Not for himself, for me. November 9th, 10:08 a.m. My father woke up in ICU. Room 4. The nurse told him what happened. Who saved him? He asked to see Nathan. Nathan came briefly between rounds. 6 minutes. I was wrong, my father said. His voice was weak. Machines beeping around him. So completely wrong. I don't know how to, Mr. Mullins. Focus on recovery. We can talk about the rest later. I called you nobody. Yes, you did. My father's eyes filled with tears. I don't deserve your forgiveness. No, you don't. But that's between you and your daughter. My job was to keep you alive. I did that. Nathan left. My father stared at the ceiling. He would live, but he would carry this for the rest of his life. November and December. They tried to reconnect. All of them. 8 emails from my mother, 3 handwritten letters, 12 voicemails from my father once he was discharged. My brother texted on November 15th. I miss you. My mother's 5-page apology letter arrived November 20th. There are no words adequate to express our shame. We judged a man by his job title and missed his character entirely. We abandoned our daughter on the most important day of her life. We have to live with that. But if you're willing, we would like to try to earn our way back slowly on your terms. I read everything. I responded to nothing for 5 weeks. December 12th, I texted my mother. Coffee Monday, just you and me. December 18th, 2:30 p.m. Rittenhouse Brew, neutral territory. My mother ordered tea. Didn't touch it. I ordered coffee, drank half. 32 minutes. She apologized, cried, didn't make excuses. For once in her life, she didn't try to explain it away. I listened. Then I laid out my terms. No normal relationship. Not yet. Maybe not ever. No holidays together. No unsolicited advice about my life. No expectations that we move past this. And you will respect Nathan always. Those are the terms. She nodded. I understand. She didn't ask for more. That was the first thing she'd done right in months. December 25th. Christmas. My parents invited us. Big family dinner. Everyone would be there. I declined. We spent Christmas with Nathan's family. South Philly row home. 14 people in a small house. Nathan's mother made too much lasagna. His father watched football. Their dog Chester stole food off the counter. It was loud, chaotic, warm. It felt like home. My phone buzzed at 6 p.m. Mom, Merry Christmas. We miss you. I read it, didn't respond. Not yet. December 31st, 2025. Nathan and I stayed home, quiet, champagne. We talked about the year, everything that had happened, everything that had changed. Do you think I should forgive them? I asked. I think you should do whatever lets you sleep at night. We watched fireworks from our window. The Philly skyline lit up. New year, new boundaries, new life. The clock struck midnight. I kissed Nathan. I chose this. Every day I chose this. People ask me if I forgave my family. I didn't. But I didn't need to. Forgiveness isn't required for peace. Boundaries are. My family made their choice. They chose status over character, appearances over love, pride over their own daughter. I made mine. And the man they called nobody, the rent-a-cop they couldn't be seen with. He was everything. He saw me when I had nothing to prove. He loved me when I was just Melinda, not Melinda from the right family with the right credentials. He saved my father's life after my father spent months trying to destroy our relationship. That's who Nathan Cross is. Not chief of trauma surgery. Not the doctor who pioneered the Cross protocol. Not the surgeon who saved 3,000 lives. Just Nathan. The man who brought me a sandwich at 2 in the morning. The man who held my hand when my family abandoned me. The man I walked toward down that 90-foot aisle, past 34 empty chairs, choosing love over everything else. I learned something that year. Some wounds don't heal. Some do. Some just leave scars. And that's okay. I chose the man who saw my worth before the world validated it. That was enough. That's my story. And I do it all again. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Tell me, would you have forgiven them? Would you let them back in after everything? I want to know what you think. And if this story meant something to you, subscribe. I read every comment. Every single one. Thanks for listening.